There's no mountain higher than the belief you place in yourself. All great things, all creations, and profound changes stem from that belief. If you don't believe in your own abilities, you will never be able to move forward. You will be limited by small thoughts and nameless fears. This world is not lacking in opportunities, but in people who are brave enough to believe in themselves and walk the path they create for themselves. Belief is what makes the difference between ordinary people and those who can change the world. I started with the belief in my ability to change everything. When you look at what I've done, you might think it's impossible, but to me, it was simply because I truly believed I could do it. That belief pushed me to keep experimenting, keep improving, despite facing failure many times. You can give up after a failure, or you can get up and tell yourself that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone closer to success. Belief is not something vague or easily obtained. It's the result of specific actions, strong decisions, and seeing each challenge as an opportunity. You can't change the world unless you change yourself first. Every achievement, no matter how big or small, starts from believing in your ability to accomplish it. And that is something no one can give you. It can only be built from within. When I started with Tesla, SpaceX, or any project, I didn't focus on the difficulties I would face. I looked at its potential and believed that if I could make significant changes in the industry, others would follow, others would see what I saw. And when you believe you can make a change, you begin to create opportunities that others won't see. Here's the important thing. You need to view belief in yourself as an essential part of your success. Not everyone will see you as you see yourself. But if you have enough belief and persistence, you will be able to do things others think are impossible. It all starts with a strong belief, the belief that you can achieve anything you set your mind to, and that is the key to moving forward. Belief is not a matter of luck or something you can wait for. It's something you need to build every day through strong decisions, specific actions, and, most importantly, by recognizing that you deserve to achieve what you desire. The subconscious is not an abstract concept. It is the foundation of every action and decision you make. It is the silent operating system that controls how you think, feel, and act every day. Everything you see and experience in life comes from subconscious programs you are unaware of. It does not differentiate between what you truly want or what you fear. It only executes what you've programmed. Therefore, if you're not aware that your subconscious is operating in your life, you will continue to be guided by it without realizing it. When I started my businesses, I didn't simply think about the products or technologies I wanted to create. I began by changing how I viewed the world, my abilities, and what was possible. Certainly, the things I thought of were not always easy or immediately successful, but I believe the subconscious was the key to turning bold ideas into reality. The subconscious is not just a place where old memories are stored, it is where every reality you live is created. When you trust in your abilities, the subconscious starts working to find opportunities and create outcomes that align with that belief. But when you live in doubt, anxiety, and lack of confidence, the subconscious reflects those emotions, creating a life full of struggles and failures. To change your life, you cannot just change what happens on the outside. You must start from within. You must master your subconscious mind. And that is not an easy process. I had to learn how to overcome the conditions my subconscious had been programmed with. When you create something new, it's not just about having an idea. You must believe that you can execute it. And above all, you must understand that your subconscious will always respond to what you believe in. Once you begin to gain control of this, you will realize that your subconscious is a powerful tool that can change everything in your life. It will not ask if you're sure, it will simply follow what you've instructed. Therefore, instead of letting the subconscious continue to install limiting beliefs, I began changing the way I think and act, directing my subconscious toward a future I desired, not one determined by my surroundings. And you can do this too. When you understand that the subconscious is the foundation of everything, you will no longer just be a pawn in the game of life. You will be the one in control, the one making decisions, from the smallest steps to the largest decision. The subconscious is the foundation upon which you build the life you want, but you must actively control it rather than letting it control you. The key to change lies not in what you do, but in how you believe in it. Belief is the deciding factor in everything. You may have all the resources, skills, and strategies, but if you don't believe you can succeed, everything becomes meaningless. When I started building Tesla or SpaceX, I didn't just have a vision for groundbreaking products. I believed in the ability to achieve what seemed impossible. I believed in my own potential and the potential of the team around me, and that was the most important factor that helped us overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. During the journey of building SpaceX, we faced numerous challenges, from a lack of funding to failed rocket launches. But the important thing is that I never let failure make me quit. Belief in the ability to change the world, in my vision, helped me rise after each failure. When you believe in what you're doing, you will find a way to solve every problem. And this belief is not just daydreaming, it is a continuous commitment. You will never reach your destination without staying true to that belief. Remember that belief is not something you only have on good days. It is something you must maintain even when everything seems to be working against you. It is in the hardest moments that you need the strongest belief. Not everyone will see the opportunities you are pursuing, and not everyone will believe in your idea from the start. But if you believe, you will create opportunities, not just wait for them to come to you. Belief is the power that turns bold ideas into reality. And if you have enough belief, nothing is impossible. This is something I've witnessed in every step I've taken. You may face hundreds of rejections, you may be criticized, but if you believe in your vision, you will keep moving forward. Belief not only helps you overcome challenges, but also helps you grow sustainably in the long journey. It is the energy that keeps you creative and persistent, not allowing you to get lost or discouraged. The truth is, only when you truly believe in something can you convince others to believe in it too. Belief is not just inner strength, but also a power that radiates outward, attracting those with the same vision. You cannot change the world if you do not change how you think about it, and this change starts with belief. It is the belief in your own abilities and the abilities of your team that will motivate you to overcome obstacles and create change. Believe in what you do and believe in yourself, because only then can you do what seems impossible. Emotion is a powerful, undeniable signal in the process of creating major changes. In fact, emotion is the language that your subconscious understands best. We cannot just think logically, because emotions will shape our decisions more than any theory. When I built Tesla or SpaceX, I didn't just set goals based on numbers or market analysis. I infused passion, perseverance, and the strong emotion that I could change the world. Not every decision I made was coldly calculated, but rather a strong emotion that urged me forward, despite difficulties or doubts from those around me. Emotion is a driving force behind your actions, and when it is controlled and directed toward the right goal, it brings infinite strength. Every failure I encountered was not seen as the end, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. Those emotions were not just about disappointment, but the motivation to try again, improve, and create once more. Every great company is built from strong emotions and unwavering commitment, not just from strategies or finances. You cannot overcome monumental challenges without emotion pushing you forward, because the biggest goals in life require not only wisdom or talent, but also strong emotion to drive action. Emotion helps you persist. When I think about big projects, emotion is an essential part of it. I feel the passion and desire to change the world. Every difficulty on the journey is just a temporary challenge because I already have the inner determination. When you build strong emotions, you will not be hindered by obstacles. Emotion creates an irreplaceable motivation. A person with strong emotions about their goal will never easily give up. Emotion is the key that unlocks creativity and helps you grow sustainably. Without strong emotions, the biggest ideas will only be empty words, unable to become reality. When I look at the company or project I've built, I don't just see numbers or successful strategies. I see the emotions I poured into it, the feelings when working with the team, the feeling that we are doing something that will change the world. And you too, if you have strong emotions for what you do, if you put all your heart into it, you will find that nothing is impossible. Emotion is an endless source of energy, an eternal flame, as long as you know how to maintain and nurture it. Taking control of your subconscious is a crucial step in changing not just your personal life, but also the way you approach every challenge in life. The subconscious is not just the passive part of your brain, it is a powerful force that controls behavior, decisions, and even how you perceive the world. I understand that if you are not aware of it, your subconscious will lead you into old habits, limitations, and negative beliefs that you have never questioned. When I started with projects like Tesla or SpaceX, I knew that what I wanted to achieve was not easy. But the important thing was that I learned how to master my subconscious, turning what seemed impossible into reality. You have to understand that the subconscious does not distinguish between what you desire and what you fear. It simply records and reflects what you repeatedly think about in your mind. Every time you say, I can't do it, the subconscious records that as a command, and you will continue to fall into failure. On the other hand, if you say, I can do it, the subconscious will start working to figure out how to make it happen. Therefore, taking control of your subconscious is a process of changing how you think, how you view yourself, and how you face the world. When I face challenges, I don't let fear or doubt dominate. I know that my subconscious will work to help me overcome any obstacle as long as I maintain my belief in myself. The only way to master the subconscious is to change the way you think, change the beliefs that have been installed before, and change your own habits. You cannot continue to act in the same old ways and expect different results. I've seen many people fail because they didn't realize that they themselves are the ones creating limitations for themselves. The subconscious makes no distinctions. It simply records and acts according to what you believe is true. To change that, you need to change the way you talk to yourself, change the way you direct your emotions and thoughts. One of the key factors when I work with my team is creating an environment where everyone can freely change and master their own beliefs. No one can change their life if they do not actively control their subconscious. And to do that, you must have awareness and perseverance. Once again, the subconscious is not something vague. It is a very practical tool, the foundation that helps you achieve everything you desire. If you master the subconscious, you will become the one who controls your life. And when you master the subconscious, you will also begin to control not just your actions, but also the outcomes you achieve. Intentional change practice is the deciding factor in turning dreams into reality. Not everything you think about or wish for will automatically happen. It's the clear goals and continuous actions toward them without ever giving up that bring success. I couldn't build Tesla or SpaceX just with vague ideas or unrealistic promises. Success comes from continuously acting with intense focus and strong commitment to accomplishing the goal, regardless of difficulties or failures. When I started with SpaceX, no one believed that we could succeed. Our rocket system faced a series of consecutive launch failures. But the important thing is not the failure, but how you react to it. If you don't act with intention, you will fall into a cycle of procrastination, complacency, and wasted time. Every step I took was aimed at working strategically, optimizing every element of the system, and continuously improving. To achieve this, you need a clear plan, but even more important is relentless action. Major changes don't happen in a day or a week, but are the result of thousands of small decisions made consistently. Intentional change practice is about working, learning, and improving every day. You must constantly experiment, fix mistakes, and continue on your path, no matter what external factors distract you. When I started developing electric cars, many people thought there couldn't be a large market for them, but I acted with a clear goal to create an electric car that everyone could use every day. It wasn't just about a product, but about a system. I believe that changing the car industry started with changing every component, every part, from the engine to the charger, and finally making the car a part of life. To do this, you not only need to act with intention, but also know how to master your time and energy. When you set clear goals and act consistently every day, you will gradually see results. However, this process is never easy. Intentional change practice is a process of continuous improvement, experimentation, and sometimes failure. But when you commit to doing it, when you keep acting and correcting your mistakes, you will gradually get closer to your goal. Each step creates a small but important change, and only when you truly grasp how to practice intentional change will you be able to see real changes in your life. Intentional change practice is the only way for you to build a life, a career, and a future that you always desire. Great change never starts with grand decisions or monumental steps. It begins with small decisions seemingly insignificant actions that have the power to connect and create lasting change. When I started with Tesla and SpaceX, I was not the first to think that we would change the world. The important decisions started from simple things, small actions that gradually became a solid foundation for bigger changes. The key to great change is realizing that every step, no matter how small, can significantly impact the future. Small decisions like which technology to choose, which approach to take, or even how to communicate ideas all contribute to shaping a new direction. Not every decision is perfect, but when you have consistency and commitment to those decisions, you get closer to your ultimate goal. I never saw failure as the end, but as part of the learning process. Every failure is an opportunity to better understand the problem, the nature of change, and ways to improve. That's how I view every situation, not as failure, but as a step forward in a long journey. You cannot expect change without accepting risk, without trying and learning from every decision, whether it's a success or failure. One of the smallest yet crucial decisions that I always remember is how I chose my team. Having people with a shared vision and passion, people who could act with clear goals, helped me build a strong team. When I decided to invest in new technologies, I knew not everyone would support it right away, but every small decision brought us closer to our long-term goal. The important thing is that you cannot wait for the perfect time to begin taking action. Small decisions must be made now, for they are the first building blocks of success. If you wait too long, you'll miss important opportunities. What I've learned throughout my journey is that instead of focusing only on the end result, you need to focus on the journey and every small decision you make along the way. That's the only way to truly change and move forward. Starting with small decisions, you will see that change doesn't come just from big steps, but from deliberate and purposeful actions carried out persistently every day. Rebuilding your identity is not an easy task, but it is essential if you want to change your life. I have gone through many failures and challenges, but the important thing is that I never allowed those failures to define me. Instead, I learned to redefine myself through each stage. Identity is not something fixed or passive. It's a continuous process of change and development. You cannot move forward without clear awareness of your identity and the ability to recreate it when necessary. When I started with SpaceX, very few people believed in our success. The space industry is full of complexity and failure, but I didn't let those failures affect my identity. I understood that a big part of making a difference was daring to think differently, act differently, and not letting seemingly insurmountable limits constrain me. People around me may have doubted, but if you are determined and keep your identity intact, you will create an undeniable impact. Building your identity begins with the important decisions you make every day. It's not just about changing how you see yourself, but changing how you act, how you face challenges, and how you express your values. When I decided to invest in Tesla, I didn't just think about creating an electric car. I thought about changing the entire automotive industry, changing how we perceive energy and the environment. And to do that, I had to rebuild my identity from seeing myself as a tech founder to becoming a leader of a revolution. Identity is not just about what you say about yourself, but what you actually do. To rebuild your identity, you must act in accordance with the values you want to express. That's why I always focus on purposeful actions and diligently pursue them every day. This doesn't mean you can't change. Rather, you need to change, but in a conscious and proactive way. You need to build a strong and flexible identity that can adapt and grow over time, instead of being stuck in old patterns. If you can redefine your identity, you will be able to shape your own future. When I look at the companies I've created, I don't just see products or technologies. I see a team, a vision, a strong identity that we built. And it was this identity that helped us overcome all challenges. When you understand the power of rebuilding your identity, you will realize that nothing can stop you from achieving what you want. So start today. Rebuild your identity. Not because you are not good enough, but because you can always become a better version of yourself. Inner rebirth is an essential process if you want to achieve sustainable success and truly change your life. The only way to achieve this is to start with yourself, from profound changes in your thinking and how you view the world. When I started building Tesla or SpaceX, I understood that success does not just come from developing new technologies or investing in bold ideas. Real success comes from the continuous rebirth of myself, from redefining the limits I have set for myself. You cannot expect change without changing how you think, how you act, and how you view every issue. I've always believed that every breakthrough, every great creation begins with an inner rebirth. It is by rethinking myself, letting go of negative and vague habits, that I keep my faith in my ability to make a difference in this world. Rebirth is not something that can happen overnight. It is a long-term process and requires relentless perseverance. Every failure, every challenge is an opportunity for me to be reborn, to learn from mistakes, and to improve myself. The failures of the past are not something I regret, but valuable lessons that have helped me grow stronger. When you view failure not as an end, but as an opportunity for rebirth and starting over, you will never stop. I've learned that rebirth is not just a change in thinking, but also a transformation in actions. I didn't just change how I approach problems, but also changed how I work, how I communicate, and how I inspire those around me. One of the crucial factors in the rebirth process is the ability to recognize and correct your own mistakes. You cannot be reborn if you do not face yourself, if you do not recognize your flaws and change them. Rebirth is necessary not only when you face difficulties, but it must be a continuous process, because only continuous rebirth will allow you to progress without stopping. Throughout my journey, I've always looked for ways to improve myself, even after achieving success, because I understand that success is not a destination, but a continuous process. Inner rebirth is the key to ensuring you never stop developing and achieving things that you once thought were impossible. And when you understand this, when you start the process of rebirth from within, you will realize that all limits are just illusions, and the future you create is up to you. The subconscious is the key that opens the door to freedom. When you understand and master your subconscious, you not only control your actions, but you can also reshape your life, career, and future. It's a profound process, and not everyone realizes that the subconscious is where all the conditions and limitations of your life are programmed. When I built Tesla or SpaceX, I didn't just think about the products or technologies. I understood that the success of those projects was inseparable from how my subconscious controlled my actions, thoughts, and beliefs. The subconscious is not an intangible or unreachable thing, but an extremely powerful system, the foundation of every decision we make. If you let your subconscious control you without awareness, you will only follow the habits and limits set by society or your past experiences. But if you realize that you can fully control your subconscious, you will free yourself from invisible barriers and achieve things you once didn't dare to imagine. The subconscious does not distinguish between reality and imagination, between hope and doubt. If you nurture the belief in success, your subconscious will help you take actions to achieve it. Conversely, if you let fear and doubt dominate, your subconscious will create invisible barriers that keep you in a state of stagnation. This is why I always encourage my team and also advise you to master your subconscious, because it's the only thing that can help you break through barriers that seem impossible to overcome. When you learn how to master your subconscious, you will discover that true freedom comes from within, from the ability to redefine yourself every day. No one can do this for you. You must be proactive in building belief in yourself and setting the goals that you will act upon to achieve. This doesn't mean that you won't face difficulties or failures. Rather, it means that you won't be defeated by those failures because your subconscious has been programmed to find solutions, rather than just focus on the problems. Just like me, when facing difficulties in my journey, I always remember that freedom doesn't come from controlling external factors, but from the ability to control my thoughts and actions. When you control your subconscious, you'll not only control your life, but also create change on a larger scale. This has been proven through the development of the companies I founded. I'm not the best, and my team is not the smartest, but we are the ones who know how to control our subconscious, how to find solutions, overcome barriers, and keep acting. And you can do the same. When you understand that the subconscious is the greatest latent power each of us possesses, You will realize that freedom is not a destination, but a process you create through your daily decisions and actions.